Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a Republican primary prediction for the month of July. And right now, Ron DeSantis' campaign has pretty much started to collapse. I mean, in some polls, he's losing a lot of support. It looks like the more people get to know Ron DeSantis, the more unlikable he gets. So he's kind of like the Republicans' own Hillary Clinton, I would say. But these are the top six candidates. I don't really think Vivek Ramaswamy should really qualify as a major candidate on here because honestly, I think Vivek just drops out before even any states a vote in the primary and probably endorses Trump. I think Vivek Ramaswamy is trying to angle for Trump's VP candidate, and also I really doubt Vivek's at 7% nationwide in some of these polls. They're online polls, so I kind of think it's like the Andrew Yang effect, or he performed very good in online polls, but when it came to actual voting, he did way worse than that. That's kind of where I see Vivek's trajectory. I think all these six candidates will definitely get higher placement than him, except for maybe Mike Pence, who his campaign's struggling. I mean, he didn't even qualify for the debate yet, which is pretty bad for him. But let's start off with the first thing. DeSantis is losing steam, which means I think Tim Scott or Chris Christie could maybe take second place away from him. But again, that's all speculation. Let's start off with the first few states, and we have to look at the primary schedule changes. So I'm going to address Michigan, Idaho, and DC. I think the first four stay the same, Iowa through South Carolina. But with Michigan, there's an issue here because, again, Republicans do not want to put their primary before Super Tuesday for Michigan, but the Democrats who own the legislature in Michigan have said it that way. But right now, it looks like they're probably going to do a caucus in a later date in March currently. Nevada also wants to do a caucus, but I think they'll probably organize it with like the first four states, probably near New Hampshire. Probably a bit before South Carolina as well, I would say. But so far, that's all the things. But Idaho and DC, for some reason, are doing it before Super Tuesday. And yeah, let's get right into it. So we'll start off with the Iowa caucus. Now, it's a proportional caucus. All the states usually have to be proportional, except for South Carolina, which, if you get over 50% in the district, you win. But with Iowa, we're just going to assume all four states are proportional, even though South Carolina isn't, because I want to do the placements in all of them. But with Iowa, I think Trump gets in like probably the mid 45. I think he gets 45% of the vote. Currently, I think Tim Scott will be the one to get second place or third place in Iowa, while DeSantis gets still like 22%. Tim Scott would probably get a surprising, like, I'd say about 10% of the vote or so. Chris Christie, he'll get like 5. Nikki Haley, get about 5. Pence probably performs the worst, and there's former delegates here. They'll probably go to these bottom candidates, honestly. Tim Scott would probably boost up to 12.5%. I think Nikki Haley outperforms Chris Christie here. And these last two, they'll probably go to the top two candidates now that we sort of organize the placements here. Mike Pence 6th, Chris Christie 5th, Nikki Haley 4th, Tim Scott 3rd, Ron DeSantis 2nd. I think DeSantis will get a one delegate there, and Trump will get another delegate there. So Trump starts out with a pretty big delegate lead to start off with. The next state of New Hampshire, it's also proportional, but Trump has a pretty sizable lead here. He'll probably get just over, I'd say like 45% of the vote again. He'll probably finish off at. I honestly think, this is a hot take, I think Chris Christie is going to get second. I think, honestly, at this point, he's seizing that momentum here. DeSantis will finish in a disappointing third place. Chris Christie, I think, will beat DeSantis in New Hampshire for second place. I really think it'll happen. While Tim Scott gets around 9%. Nikki Haley probably just right behind Tim Scott. Mike Pence again just gets 6th. So Chris Christie's gaining some momentum here. Nevada. Again, I think Trump definitely probably wins the primary here in Nevada. He has a strength with non-white voters as well, which would give him a boost here. So 48% is pretty fair. While DeSantis probably gets second here again. Chris Christie with the newfound momentum, I think he finishes in 3rd. Tim Scott gets 4th. And it's between Nikki Haley and Pence for that remaining last delegate. I think Nikki Haley probably beats Pence out again. At this point, I think Pence would probably drop out with such a pathetic showing here. He probably gets below 4% in the state of Nevada. Because again, he just doesn't have a lot of support. He's probably going to lose that name recognition advantage over time. So, South Carolina. This is a state Chris Christie will not do so well in. Honestly, I could see Tim Scott edging out DeSantis for second in the state. But we'll start off with Trump. He'll get his like lowest form of support, like only at 42%, maybe even down to 40. For now, I'll keep it at 40. I'll probably give him a boost if there's any remaining delegates. But I see Tim Scott probably getting here like 20% or so. DeSantis getting 18. Nikki Haley getting about 16% support, maybe about 14, I would say. Chris Christie probably would only get like 6%, and Trump will probably bump up to 42. So again, I think Tim Scott will probably get second, DeSantis third, but Nikki Haley just in a fourth place finish, Chris Christie in fifth. At this point, I think Tim Scott and Nikki Haley drop out of the race. They haven't won any states so far, and they lost their home state. Chris Christie, it's debatable if he drops it. I think he hangs in there because, again, I think he thinks he feels pretty good about himself after getting second and third in New Hampshire and Nevada. So I think he sticks in. So it's between the three candidate race: Trump v. DeSantis versus Chris Christie. So the next state that would vote would be the Idaho caucus, because again, Michigan's probably going to move up their thing to a later date and it'll be a caucus. But the Idaho caucus, again, let me look at the rules of this state. It's winner take most. So Chris Christie, again, will probably only get like 2 delegates or something out of this state because it's winner take most. But since it's a Mormon state and it is a caucus, I think this will be one of DeSantis' rare victories here. Winner take most usually gives you 2/3 of the delegates. So Trump, again, he'll get some delegates here, but not a lot. Chris Christie will probably get 1 or 2. At this point, I think Chris Christie drops out because he realizes he's probably just preventing DeSantis from having a chance against Donald Trump. So the next state that would vote, or district, would be D.C., and I think DeSantis, again, it's a winner-take-all, so he'll get all the delegates here, giving him, look at that, 71 to 67. It's actually giving him a decent boost. Okay, now we'll start off with the next few states. So Alabama, winner take most state, 2/3 of the delegates go to Trump. Again, I think Trump has a pretty sizable advantage here. Same with Tennessee. I think DeSantis has a better shot at Tennessee than Alabama. Arkansas, again, probably would go to Trump. Oklahoma probably would go to Trump again. 2/3 of those delegates. Let's see here. So Alabama, Alaska. Alaska, I'm pretty sure, is proportional, and it is. But I think DeSantis will get a narrow win against Trump here. Very narrow. Texas, winner take most state, I think Trump would get most of the delegates here, around 66%. North Carolina and Virginia are proportional states, lucky for DeSantis, but unlucky for him that Virginia is one of those states which I still think he would get a win here if the pop-up would work. Sometimes it glitches out. But DeSantis would probably get a very narrow win here. I honestly think Glenn Youngkin would probably endorse him, giving him a bit more of a boost in the state, even though he's behind in the polls. DeSantis would do well in North Carolina, but not well enough. Trump will probably win this crucial state that DeSantis has to win. In the Northeast, Vermont, Massachusetts, and Maine, at this point, Trump already portrays himself as the more moderate Republican candidate than DeSantis is at this point. So I think Trump would probably win all 3 of these states. And they're all winner-take-most states. So probably like that delegate split. Massachusetts, he's like up by like 60 or 70 points. So he would probably get more delegates than just the 2/3. He would probably get like 73 or something delegates, 73% of them. Maine, again, 2/3 of the delegates. Okay. What's the next few states on the list? Minnesota. Again, this is one of the states DeSantis needs to win, but I think Trump will so far win it because of his huge lead in the primary polling. California changed it from a winner-take-all from congressional district to winner-take-most. So that's actually good for DeSantis, considering Trump's very much in the lead in California right now. But again, DeSantis doesn't get a ton of delegates from here, while Trump gets more than him. Colorado and Utah, these are some states DeSantis can rely on. I think he'll win both of them, and they're winner-take-most states. So at least he gets some delegates. Again, Utah's a very Mormon state. It's one of the states DeSantis has the best chance in. Colorado, second most. States that DeSantis would come close to losing is Virginia and Alaska. Let's see if I missed any states down this list. No, I'm pretty sure I hit them all. unless I'm missing one randomly here, but I'm checking my list. It looks good. Okay, the next few things. Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, I'm finally pronouncing that correctly, and Puerto Rico and Kansas. So, Guam, it's a selection caucus. I think delegate selection probably would be pretty even, but I think the party elites would rather DeSantis than Trump. Mariana Islands, it would be a very big Trump advantage here. Probably wouldn't hear in a blowout, just due to this territory is usually overwhelmingly favoring him in the past. Puerto Rico, non-white voters heavily back Trump. So again, it's winner take most. Trump would get most of the delegates here against DeSantis. Let's see the next few. Kansas is a by-district caucus, so that's actually kind of good for DeSantis and its caucus because more college-educated voters turn out. So DeSantis would do a bit better here. Probably be a bit close, 43-56 or something like that. Only because it's a caucus. But the next few states. Hawaii, Idaho, Mississippi, Missouri, and Washington. And apparently they lumped in Georgia as well lately on the schedule. So Georgia, Mississippi, Washington. Georgia's included with those 5 states now. And Georgia's winner take all currently. So again, I think these are one of the really pro DeSantis states. I think he could win it, but it'll be a narrow victory. But again, winner take all, lucky for him. Mississippi, winner take most. DeSantis would probably lose the state to Trump. Same with Missouri. Trump would have a pretty big advantage there as well. Idaho, it's winner. Wait, no, Idaho already voted before in the primary. That was just based off my old schedule, but Washington probably goes to Trump at this point. Probably a bit narrower, but 54-45 sounds pretty accurate. And then Hawaii, which I'm pretty sure is proportional, but I think, again, Trump's probably winning over the moderates here in the state, so I think Hawaii goes to Trump. So Arizona, Florida, Illinois, Ohio, Florida, and Arizona. They're all winner-take-all states, so if DeSantis wants to have a chance, he probably has to sweep 3 out of the 4 of them. DeSantis will get his home state of Florida. I don't really think he would lose his home state after getting some victories in these previous states before. I think he'll capture at least Florida, but I think Trump easily wins in Ohio, easily wins in Illinois, and probably a bit closer a victory in Arizona, but he gets that win. Okay, the next few states, American Samoa, Louisiana, and North Dakota. Lucky for DeSantis, North Dakota selection, so again, the party elites would probably back DeSantis here, but it'll be a bit closer. American Samoa, let's check what type of caucus. Okay, so it's a delegate selection similar to North Dakota. Again, party elites would probably back DeSantis. Louisiana and just Louisiana. Louisiana's winner take all, so I think Trump would probably win the state here. Okay, the next few states coming up. Wisconsin, Wyoming, pretty sure they're both winner take all. Again, Wisconsin, DeSantis needs to win. Trump will probably win both these states, though. That's putting, again, more pressure on the DeSantis campaign to reform. So Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island are the next primaries. Again, I think DeSantis would have a really good shot in Maryland, who would probably win the state narrowly. But with Delaware, it would probably end up going to Trump. Pennsylvania probably end up going to Trump. And Rhode Island is winner take most, so Trump would get 2/3 of the delegates there. Okay, next few states. Connecticut and New York, which are both winner take most states. Trump, again, it's one of his home states here in New York, so he'd probably do pretty well here, winning 2/3 of the delegates. Same with Connecticut due to the winner take most rules. Again, winner take most and winner take all really hurt DeSantis the most. So Indiana, West Virginia, Nebraska, Kentucky, Oregon, and Virgin Islands are up next, those primaries. But Indiana and West Virginia, they're winner take alls. Well, actually, I forgot to do Michigan, but they would probably be a caucus and would probably make it winner take most. I should have done that a bit earlier with the Florida primaries. Florida, Ohio, Illinois, and Arizona would probably lump it in. But again, I think because it's winner take most, Trump would have a pretty big advantage there. So Trump would get a lot of the delegates here. But yeah, Indiana and Kentucky, winner take most states. These are probably Trump's biggest base of supports here. Kentucky is proportional, but Trump would crush DeSantis here, even if it's proportional. So it's almost a winner take most anyway. Let's see here. Nebraska, I'm pretty sure, is also winner take all, so Trump would get all the delegates there. Am I missing one? Oregon and the Virgin Islands. Virgin Islands is delegate selection, so DeSantis would have a pretty good avenue of winning there. But Oregon is proportional, which is honestly good for DeSantis. He gets some delegates here, but not enough to beat Trump. So these last few states, New Jersey, New Mexico, South Dakota, Montana, let's go through them. So New Jersey, it's winner take all. Trump would get all the delegates here. New Mexico, it's the one proportional state, but again, DeSantis wouldn't do well with non-white voters here. In South Dakota, it's winner take all, and Montana, winner take all. So DeSantis, if you look at like my past videos, DeSantis has took a huge fall from where he used to be. Now he's only winning like 9 states and a few contests in DC and some islands. Again, DeSantis' campaign is pretty much falling apart at the seams. Honestly, at this point, it's possible that someone like Tim Scott or Chris Christie gets second place over DeSantis if his campaign continues on this downward trend. But right now, I would say Trump is probably the overwhelming favorite to win the Republican primary. And he's getting most of the delegates here, pretty much winning by a lot. But yeah, I really think it's because DeSantis is losing the battle of electability for Republican primary voters. I mean, honestly, Trump's probably the better candidate for the Rust Belt states, and I think a lot of voters are realizing that. But yeah, that's my prediction so far, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.